so interested in seeing what him and Quinn Ewers do this year. There's been so much hype.
We should have a pretty dangerous running back in Blake Corum.
Maryland's got Talia Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
A little too backyard football.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football. And it's Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. So you know who I'm here with. My guy and host of Restoring the Roar, Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Really excited last Tuesday before we get real football back. And, Jess, cannot wait for it to get here.
Oh, man. And Alex, it's funny because last night I went back and I looked over all the episodes that we've done in the offseason since, Georgia destroyed TCU in the national championship all the way to now. And, man, it has been an honor. It has been a pleasure working with you and doing this as maybe two of the only people that really kind of continue to care all the way through the offseason. But we are finally almost here, and you're absolutely right. I'm super excited too, man.
Oh, yeah. Fine. Right back at you about the honor, the privilege, all that, and I can't wait to roll through this season with you again. And, as the name says, let's talk college football.
Absolutely. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, we appreciate you being here. Less than a week away. College football is back this Saturday, August 26th. We've been wishing it was back since April.
Yeah.
But Alex, all right, fast forward to Saturday. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We finally made it. We wake up. We've done the show real quick, amping us up. The game starts in an hour. What are some of the things you're doing? What are you going for? Your snack, your beverage, your TVs? What's your work up to the moment?
I always throw on game day right when we're done. Listen to those guys, listen to who they're picking, which games they're talking about, who they're looking at, see if there's anything we didn't pick up on, breaking news, potentially anything like that. And as far as the snacks and the drinks goes, it kind of depends what I'm feeling that day. Sometimes there's nachos, or I'll get wings or burger or something like that, or just random snacks that I have laying around the house. Sometimes I'll get a few beers, sometimes water, pop, whatever. Just kind of whatever I'm feeling. It's just kind of, I'll get all the game day, everything set up, decide which games I'm watching, kind of have the stream set up ready to go, or whichever channel I'm watching on, have it ready to go. And then it's okay. What am I feeling for food and drink today? Kind of go from there.
Yeah. And that's kind of the way it is for me, where it's kind of like, let me get my setup going first.
Yeah.
Let me have my laptop. Let me have my TV. Depending on what the Saturday entails, if I'm staying at home, I'm going to be in my sweats and probably have NCAA on somewhere.
Oh yeah. You better believe that.
You know what I mean? Now, and again, it depends on the game. Because if it's a game that I don't care as much about, then I will focus on 3 or 4 games. But if it's a primetime blockbuster like that Michigan-Penn State game, when that comes up.
Oh, I am watching that game and that game alone.
Exactly. I'm not doing anything else. I am locked in. I'm zoned in. And that also determines what I eat. So if it's something like that, I might have some wings or something, or some chips or something like that for a really good game. If it's a really important game in North Carolina, I'm not eating anything. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious, and I just sit here in my box. I don't move. I'm like, don't talk. Don't. You know what I mean? I'm in my zone. I'm coaching with these guys. You know what I mean? So, oh man, yeah. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready, and I can't wait. And look, so we talked about this last week. What is the most amount of TVs or screens that you've had on for games at one time?
I'd say probably 4. I've had like my computer that I'm doing the show on here, a laptop, phone, and TV all going. I've had 4 going at a time on those. This weekend will probably be very similar to that. I'll probably have multiple screens going, and might be in different rooms of the house. So if I go, say, the one room, I'll catch this game, and downstairs will be another game, stuff like that. Maybe we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think 4 is probably the most I've done.
Yep. I think, I got to agree with you. I think 4 too, because I know I've had laptop and I've had phone and TV, but maybe the laptop I might be going through 2 different streams.
Yeah.
Like, go to this one, then I'll flip back to the other one. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. I definitely have to, unless, like we said, it's the main game. It's the big time one that we've been waiting for. Then there's nothing else that's going on. We got people in the comments, Cat saying, really wings. Yeah, I know you, Sean. Sean stating the truth. Absolutely. This is Eric Kelly, Friday night season opener, Rudy Saturday morning. Oh, watching Rudy Saturday morning. I can dig it. Watch hype videos, walk around nervously until kickoff. Yep.
Love the name for the dog.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
Was it Zbikowski? Oh,
yeah.
Yes, Tom Zbikowski.
I recognize that name from the old NFL head coach game. It's that 2008 draft, and I've played that game probably 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
And I recognize that name immediately from that.
Yes. Oh, this is true. This is Cass. He said he sometimes will only listen to the games. Good times. Sean has done before. Yeah, I may or may not, if the game is getting uncomfortably close, leave the house and then go to the car and turn on the radio, because I can't watch, and I need space to kind of lose my mind if possible.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to explain myself if I just start cussing and they're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, have you not seen this? The corner is not he's playing 6 years off. They're giving him the slant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that was like last year. Well, 2 years ago when Michigan first beat Ohio State in the back-to-back years here. I watched that game in my apartment. I was living by myself. I watched that alone. Phone was off. I did not talk to anybody throughout the entirety of that game. And then last year, I was supposed to go to my parents' place for game day. But we did the show, and then I was like, okay, I'm not listening to the entire game on the radio. Like, I'll watch part of the first quarter, listen to the game on the radio, and I got there for like the last 6-7 minutes of the fourth quarter, so I still have to watch a bit. But yeah, it was just like, I'm not listening to the entire thing on the way home. I'm watching a bit first.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's here. It's here.
Oh,
Very little more do we have to see here. Go back and forth on what we could do, what we wish to. We wanted to give you a little bit of the taste, because it's right here, ladies and gentlemen. So get ready. Week 0 is football. I don't care what anybody says about week 1 and all that stuff. Much respect. That's when all the major teams play. But we've been chomping at the bit for August 26th. Next week it starts, baby. Or this Saturday it starts.
This Saturday. Yeah. Well, and we get big time teams this weekend too, like Notre Dame, SC, both playing this weekend. Exactly. Those are 2 massive teams.
Oh yeah, not to mention an international game with Navy and Notre Dame being in, man. So, oh yeah. Eric said my phone stays out of reach. Too many fallen victim. Oh yeah, easily.
Especially in that Denard Robinson era.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Those were some phenomenal games. Those were some of my favorite Notre Dame Michigan games back then, because there were so many that like just went down to the final play.
Oh yeah, I saw the clip just today on IG when Kyle Rudolph, I think, was at Notre Dame, and they played y'all. He hit a 95-yarder with Brady Quinn, hitting him over the top. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. Kyle Rudolph is
back in the mid-2000s. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I like that. But look, it is less than a week away, and games are starting. But we do want to update you guys on a story that hits right at home for my guy. We've heard about our guy Jim Harbaugh. Potentially, they had levied the 4-game suspension on him. The NCAA actually denied the 4-game suspension. However, Michigan imposes a 3-game suspension on him. So, break this down. What does this mean for Michigan, and how is this different from what the NCAA would have done?
So, there's a few reasons why this is entirely different. So, the 4-game suspension that was implied by the NCAA, that got denied. As soon as next week started, like Monday next week, he was out of the building. Can't coach during the week, can't coach Saturday. There was also a couple assistant coaches that were suspended for a game. Sherrone Moore, the offensive coordinator, being one of them.
Oh, wow.
Who I thought was just going to take over as the head coach for the 4
Right.
games while Harbaugh was gone. He was gone week 1 as well. With this self-imposed suspension by Michigan, Harbaugh's allowed to coach Monday to Friday. Can't be in the building Saturday. So he's allowed to coach, get them ready for the game. But then Sherrone Moore, Jesse Minter, one of the two, will take over on game day.
Wow.
It also allows Harbaugh to be back for the first conference game against Rutgers in week 4, which is big because, as I've said multiple times this offseason, Rutgers always plays us hard.
Yep.
And I'd love for Harbaugh to be there for that game, so I'm really glad about that. I think the main reason Michigan did this is if you look back throughout the history of the NCAA, there's a lot of times where they're trying to decide a punishment and the school will be like, well, how about we just do this? And the NCAA would be like, yeah, good enough. Wipe their hands clean of it. So a lot of it is, well, the 4-game suspension got denied, so we don't know if the NCAA was saying too heavy of a penalty, too light of a penalty. Michigan's like, well, how about we just do 3 games, see if they'll call it good, because any penalty that the NCAA is going to imply is in 2024. It's going to be 2024 by the time they do the hearing and everything going on there, which, I mean, we've seen the non-conference schedule. It's light this year. ECU, Bowling Green, and UNLV.
Yeah.
Next year, your big non-conference game, Texas.
Yeah.
Arch Manning's coming into the building. Harbaugh's going to want to be there for that game. So by doing the 3-game suspension this year, they're hoping that the NCAA just wipes their hand clean of it and leaves it alone. And yeah, they punished him. Good enough. We're done here. And because not to mention, you've also got USC and UCLA as games scheduled for Michigan next year. So, and we don't know when conference games are going to start for Big Ten next year. So it's just, if you can almost guarantee to have them on the field the way history's gone with the NCAA or on the sideline for next year, you absolutely do that.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Now, so with this, it changes. So you said more, the OC would have been out with the NCAA's suspension, but with this suspension, did they do the same thing, or is he not affected?
No, the only one that's suspended is Harbaugh. Okay. So it was, Harbaugh for 4 games, Sherrone Moore for 1 game, and another assistant coach. I think it was the one that was actually texting the player during the COVID dead period. Those 2 were suspended for just the first game. And then Harbaugh 3 more after that. They haven't gone and suspended Moore and the assistant coach. It's just Harbaugh for 3 games.
Whew. Okay. It's going to be interesting. And to be clear, it very well could not be over. Very well, the NCAA could say, hey, we do want to reopen this up. But realistically, after this move has been made, I mean, they would have to be trying to come after you for that. You know what I mean? It would have to be something more.
Yeah, they're going to want, and like, the only way they'd come after them now is if the sanctions committee was like, no, 4 games wasn't enough. We need more of a penalty. Then they might come back and lay the hammer on them. But, I mean, the history kind of sides with this being the end of it.
Right. And great question, Eric. Why ASU get all those sanctions for Herm Edwards during the COVID time?
I haven't heard anything. And I think the fact that Herm Edwards is gone, they won't do anything.
Yeah. They need to get sanctions for the way that they treated that man.
I mean, yeah, agreed. Because that was totally egregious. That was awful.
Absolute disrespect.
Yeah, that was absolutely awful.
Yeah. So with this, like we said, you guys play ECU, UNLV, then Bowling Green, all very winnable games if everybody's healthy and playing. And now, like you had said before, what we had thought was going to happen, now you have the OC there. So all intents and purposes, this thing should roll along, and then right when he comes back, we'll be good to go. So we'll see.
Well, and it's literally just 1 day a week he's not the Michigan coach.
Right.
Because he's coaching every practice throughout the week, making sure Moore or Minter, whoever's running the sideline on those Saturdays, is ready to go. And he essentially just gets to kick back at home and watch his team play on Saturday.
Yeah, and just relax. I wonder though, for somebody as hungry as him and as passionate about the game as him, I bet you that's going to eat him up.
Oh yeah, he'll be going nuts in his house. I guarantee it. His family will be ready to shove him out the door for Saturdays and be like, "You can go now. Like, go ahead."
See him go to like a bar or something. Is that Coach Harbaugh? Is he sitting there? Just leave me alone.
I can totally see it.
Right. Then watch out, man. Harbaugh might be at a bar near you if you're in Michigan, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But look, let's go ahead and keep this thing moving because we did mention about next year, which obviously a number of teams are moving. USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten, like you mentioned.
Oregon and Washington as well.
Exactly. And then you got teams going to what? The Big 12, the SEC.
Big 12, Utah, ASU, Arizona, and Colorado all go into the Big 12.
Yeah. So leaves you with 4 teams right now in the Pac. What was the Pac-12, now the Pac-4. You have Washington State, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford. Yeah. Now, there have been talks about maybe they were going to try to hold strong, but like my guy Alex alluded to a week ago, Saturday, the writing's on the wall. It's basically going to be imploded, and it's terrible. Word on the street now, and one of the things you mentioned was that Stanford and ACC potentially could be going, or Stanford and Cal potentially could be going to the ACC.
Yeah. Word
came out. Anthony Handy, he sent us that little article. Apparently, Stanford made a little plea to the ACC. Hey, can we're trying to go. We're trying to get in here now. But it's a little different. They're potentially going to do it without any of the media rights or the financial backing of all that stuff from the ACC. What does this mean for them? Is this smart? Like, what's?
Yes, it is smart because, and I mean, they can essentially push that money that they would get from the Pac-12, and just be like, here, you guys take it, because a lot of the other teams are doing that. They get a chunk from Oregon State, Washington State, and Cal now are all going to get chunks from every other team that's leaving as kind of like a damages and all that. So they're going to lose some of that Pac-12 money, Pac-4 money at this point, and they're not necessarily taking the ACC money right off the bat. What happens, though, is every time a team comes in to a conference, that TV deal gets renegotiated because there's a different number of teams, different amount of money per team. So everything goes back to the drawing board. So what they're saying is, we won't take any money for joining you guys now, but joining them, you're going to get a bigger portion of money than you were in the Pac-12 or the Mountain West or the AAC that they were talking about as well. You're going to get more money going to the ACC than any of those other conferences. So they're banking on losing a bit of money short term for more financial gain long term.
Yeah. And it was said, I think Notre Dame was one of those that was really in on the proposal to bring them in to the ACC, them and Cal. And then, I know you had talked about SMU potentially bringing it in. That could then set up like what you mentioned Saturday about having two, potentially 18 teams, because I would add 3 teams in there. You have 2 potential 9-team conferences in there, or 9-team divisions. I mean, so this could be good if this does happen. How far is Cal from doing the same thing? How far away are they from coming to join the ACC?
I think it's how far is the ACC from allowing another team in. I think Cal will be ready to jump.
Okay.
You see the potential money that Stanford's going to get and kind of look at it from that perspective. And I think Cal would be willing to jump. I think they'd be a little more willing to jump cross country, knowing that like Stanford would be in the conference too. So you'd have a team kind of closer to home, very close to home. And then with that money on top of it, I think it makes it a little more appealing. But like we said before, now that Stanford's essentially in the ACC, you needed 12 of the 15 votes before. you're probably needing 13 of the 16 votes now to get in. I'm guessing you probably wouldn't get that extra leeway of 12 for 16 now. I think it would be 13 to 16. And I mean, we know that Florida State isn't exactly wanting to kind of do the ACC any favors here. And there were two other teams that said no to Stanford, Cal, and SMU right off the bat. NC State, yeah. So, I mean, there's a few of these teams that aren't really doing the conference any favors. So how willing are they to add another team? Because while it might add more money to the conference as a whole, it might lessen that per team share. And some of these other teams might not necessarily want that. So I think it would be more, I think Cal would jump in a heartbeat. I think it's more how willing is the ACC to take on Cal. Because Stanford, they've had sports programs that have been competitive over the last few years. Their men's basketball team a couple years ago, their women's basketball team has been a powerhouse as of late. Football, obviously not so much. But Cal pretty much across the board has been bad for a few years now. Cal's men's basketball team used to be a powerhouse dynastic program, and now it's in the dumps. Yeah. So I think last 2021 season, they won like 3 games. Right. So it's really bad. Cal sports are essentially at an all-time low. The only reason you would really look to bring Cal in right now is it raises your academic prestige.
Well, exactly. And see, from that perspective, Stanford and Cal are top tier at that. But like you said about Cal, it has not looked good, and that wouldn't look good on a conference that already some people outside of the conference question how strong it really is, And then when you go to Stanford and look at them, I mean, at the end of the day, this I think will be better for them. You get the ACC fans, where we saw what Eric was saying, that Stanford doesn't really, they don't do fans really well. They don't travel really well. But this, I think they're so quick to do this because this really is not going to affect them monetarily. Like you said, the rest of Stanford's, sports and academia is subpar. I mean, above, way above. And, they got an endowment for like 36 bills. Stanford is a well-known university, not just in the States, but all over the world. So the money wouldn't be the issue for them. But this, I mean, they see the writing on the wall, you know what I mean? And they're ready to jump ship. And we'll see. You talked about it. You brought it up. And I didn't even think it was a possibility. But here we are, Yeah. And as what Johnny was saying, Cal is chomping at the bit to jump over. Yeah.
I think 3 of the schools that are left, I think they all just want some kind of security of knowing what's coming next year. Yeah. So I think any conference really that's gonna offer them and throw them some cash, they might jump at.
Yeah. Because right now, if this happens, Stanford and Cal go into the ACC, then you look at Oregon State and you look at Washington State and you say, well, what happens to them? You talk Mountain West, Big Ten is not too far. Like, realistically, where are they going to go?
I'm still leaning Mountain West for those 2 teams. I think they don't want to do the cross-country trip week in and week out. I think it geographically made sense. I don't think the money is that big of a factor to them. And I don't think the few $1 million a year is that big of a difference. I think they'll take the 7 or the 17 to 20 mil a year that these other conferences get. Yeah. Now it's a big jump if you can get into the Big Ten. I don't know how willing they are to take on a couple more teams. Although if you're looking at the football aspect of it, Oregon State fits perfectly right now.
Right.
They play Big Ten style football right now.
Absolutely.
And Wangalele, I think, is a Big Ten style quarterback. I think he fits those run heavy schemes. If he was going to stay another year, I'd say, bring him right in. But obviously he's probably gone after this year. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Oregon State for a few years has played smash mouth football. So I think they would fit. It's just a matter of if they would bring both teams in, because you'd probably want to keep that even number of teams.
Yeah. And look, ladies and gentlemen, this is becoming the new NCAA. This is what it is. A lot of us, we don't want it necessarily, but this is where we're at. You know what I mean? Especially ahead of the 12-team tournament that's coming out next year. So, hey, just buckle up, get used to it.
Yeah.
Teams are going to be playing
Buckle
teams
up
you didn't
is
expect.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a ride. It's a bumpy ride.
Yeah.
So strap up. Let's get ready to go. But yeah, it's it's a crazy world the college football landscape is in right now.
Oh, man. But it is back. And
yes, sir.
That is why we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we are going to be right back, and we are going to talk about the secondary, the corners, and the safety, the top 5 returning guys. We want you to stay tuned for a show that will be coming back in a couple weeks. Let's talk football, ladies. Take over.
We are back for Bo.
He's a rookie. He's also half Puerto Rican. I don't know if y'all.
You already know what time it is.
Someone like Hayden Hurst is coming out and being like, look, you're not alone. On our show too, as well, we're all about mental health and awareness.
Yes.
Off and on the field.
Yeah, buddy. That is Let's Talk Football Ladies Takeover with my dynamic partner, Janae Struther, with the lovely Delilah Crespo, and with the newest member, Nicole Klachek. So definitely stay tuned for them Thursday nights, 8 p.m., right before my buddy over here is 9 or 10 or whatever they get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, man. So look, we are back. Myself, Sean Spencer, my guy, Alex Loosemore. This is Tuesday night. We're talking college football. And what we've been doing this off season is ever since the draft, we've been focusing on the top 5 guys at each respective position. We've covered the offense. We've gone through the defense, the D-line, and linebackers. Did that fairly recently. So we're going to finish up this week, seeing as Saturday is the first game. And we're going to start with no-fly zone. That's secondary, ladies and gentlemen. So we want to go ahead and start with the top 5 returning cornerbacks in 2023. Alex, what does your top 5 list look like?
All right, so at number 5, might be a little early to throw him in at the D1 level, but I'm going to do it. Travis Hunter. He's just an elite athlete, very good cover corner, also a very good wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to be a lockdown corner for Colorado. I love what he brings to the field, so I'm throwing him in at number 5. Number 4 for me is Cooper DeJean from Iowa.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Iowa corners. Yep. It's just like Iowa O-linemen. They just bring it. He's, elite corner, very good in that zone coverage they play. I wish they played a little more man-to-man, but he's very good at that too. But love what he does. He's my number 4. Number 3 for me is Josh Newton from TCU. Mm-hmm. He's going to take over that main guy in the secondary from Travius Hodges-Tomlinson. And I feel like he's more than capable of doing that. Very talented, very good corner. He's going to slide in at my number 3. Number 2 for me, I say this all the time. I hate that they're so high on my list all the time.
Yep.
Penn State's Kalen King.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the amount of Penn State DBs that have gone into the league recently and shown up, and Kalen King's going to be no different. He's a very good corner, very good in that press man that they love to run. Can also play that zone that they kind of throw in from time to time. He's a do-it-all guy. I love what he does. Just wish he did it in the maize and blue instead of the blue and white. And number 1 for me, arguably the best name for the corners, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama.
Kool-Aid.
Obviously, you can't go wrong with Alabama DBs either. We're seeing that firsthand with Brian Branch in Detroit right now, but Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid locks it down, man. He is so flipping good on the outside.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a tall task because there's a lot of really good wide receivers in that conference this year. So I can't wait to see what he does for the Rolling Tide this year, but he's my number one.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I'm not even going to 1 and 2. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you already know. First of all, anybody with the nickname, with the name, not even nickname, with the name Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
Best corner, and he's an excellent return man. So, I mean,
yeah,
he's got it all. My number 5, I think was your number 4, Cooper DeJean of Iowa. I mean, like you said, everything you said was spot on. You can never go wrong with the Iowa corner. But what I love about this guy is he's great in coverage, but he's also solid as a run defender. Tied for 4th among Power 5 corners with like 5 picks a year ago, and pretty big on that D. So I love him. Love Iowa. We already know how that goes. My 4, shout out to our guy Eric Kelly. Got to go Benjamin Morrison.
He was my number 6.
Yep, there you go. Dude is a ball hawk, man. 6 interceptions, tied for the most in Power 5 last year. And hey, North Carolina, we saw him. We got bit by that bug. And hey, I like it. I want to see what he can do now that offense we think is going to be more legit. My number 3, your boy out of Michigan, Will Johnson. I mean, dude, 5-star. I mean, worth the hype. Love the size. Reminds me of Patrick Surtain. But I want to see him now against. We know what's going on in the Big Ten as far as wide receivers. We just as far as Ohio State alone.
Yeah,
how he holds his own and locking these guys down. I know he's like a sophomore, isn't he? He's
true sophomore. Yeah,
young guy. But that word that you put in front of sophomore, true sophomore. He was a true freshman out there last year, graded very high, and I'm expecting him to do the same things this year.
I had him at 7. I was like, I want to put him there, but I was like, I'm going to temper expectations a little bit. I'll throw him at 7. I love that you threw him in, though.
Oh, yeah, had to. And his youth, that was something that kind of got me. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, he's that true. When you always hear the redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, etc. When you hear that true freshman at any position, but definitely at corner where you're on the island. Oh yeah, I gotta show him love. And I mean, you're my guy, so I gotta show you love. Now, like you said, at number 2, you got Kalen King out of Penn State.
Yeah.
A lot of people obviously don't know as much about him. They don't follow Penn State because when you think about corners at Penn State, obviously last year's star, Joey Porter Jr. was there. So this guy was the guy on the other side. And all I'm going to say is look at his highlights from 2022.
Yeah.
Guy can ball out. I know you've seen it up close and personal.
Plenty, yeah.
But I'm definitely eager to see what he does and what he brings to the table this year. And we already talked about Kool-Aid, McKinstry.
Yeah.
And look, people, I understand their best defensive player last year left, and Will Anderson Jr., the former Heisman Trophy winner and quarterback Bryce Young left. But these guys still got talent. They still got a lot of talent in Alabama. And just because they might be overshadowed by Georgia right now, which is so weird to say, still they're going to come. And Saban, as long as Saban's coaching there, he's going to get them guys ready to go. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And let's move down the list to our top 5 returning safeties in this game. Alex, 1 through 5, what you got, man?
All right, so for me at number 5, I'm going to go with one that we said. I mean, we talk about how bad their defense is a lot of times, but Kalen Bullock of USC, he's one of the better safeties in the nation. He lays the hammer. I love to watch him hit, but he's solid in coverage too. Love what he brings. I'm going to slide him at number 5. Number 4 for me, this is where I threw my Michigan guy in, is Rod Moore. Veteran guy in the secondary there. He's a do-it-all guy. Solid in zone coverage, man coverage. Loves to get in there and lay the wood in the front 7 there. He will do anything they ask him to do, and he does it well. So had to show him some love in my top 5. Number 3 for me, I love this name out of a safety, Kobe Savage from K-State. I love this kid's tape. I mean, the name Savage is a safety. I love that. Hopefully he lives up to it because, I mean, I got big expectations for him this year. Very solid player. Number 2 for me is Cam Kinchins from Miami. Very solid player. They've got 2 of the top safeties in the country. Oh, yeah. The other one, James Williams, finished just outside my top 5, kind of 6, 7, 8 area. But very good players, both of them. Kinchins is just the better one. So showed him some love here. My number 1, go figure, Georgia. It's Malachi Starks. Yeah, I mean, just elite players all over that defense. Malachi Starks is no exception. He can do it all. Like him a lot as a tackler, but I mean, coverage is key there. So yeah, for me, he's my number 1 guy in the nation.
Oh, absolutely. So I have the same list, it's just mixed up a little bit. I got Moore from Michigan at 5. You had him at 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have him at 5. I have both the Miami quarters on there.
Oh, okay.
James Williams and Cameron Kitchens. Shout out to Cameron Kitchens, All-American last year. And they put up in the practice facility at Miami now. They put up all the banners of all the All-Americans and all that. So obviously, especially in that like 2000 era, you know, there was a boatload of banners, right? But he is the first guy, Cameron Kitchens, to have his banner up while actively playing. I mean, this guy is a monster, man. Graded over a 90 on PFFs. Like he in coverage, he is solid. So absolutely love that. I then got Bullock up there because we know his dominance, and like you said, when you have that defense that is just we're questioning every which way, this is lockdown. Somebody that I'm like, okay, all right, they got that. I know they got that. And then obviously, I feel like we've been doing this all off season, giving Georgia their love. They're bringing them back, and they have the top tier safety. I mean, look, what's how you say his first name?
Malachi.
That's what I got. Malachi Starks out of Georgia. I mean, this guy's a monster. I don't even really want to keep pumping them up, but I mean, they bring him back, and we know what he can do at coverage. But I think what's huge about them, and it's huge about Georgia secondary in general, they can tackle. They come up and they hit you. They hit you from a very young age all the way up. So this guy's one of the best safeties in the country, much less the SEC, and that's saying something right there. So if they're looking to repeat, as our boy Colin showed us, you know, and they're looking to have a solid year, we really want to see Malachi Stark do something big. And hey, we're expecting it. We're absolutely expecting it. Johnny said, Alex, I thought I saw an article that had some 5-star DP signing to Michigan. If so, who was he and where did he come from?
You're gonna have to be a little more specific because I'm not sure how long ago. I'll see if I can find anything.
Yeah. And then Chris said, I have a surprise for one of you two gentlemen. Are you becoming a fan of our team? Because we know you're pretty high on that Vandy train. Hey, what? Actually, Chris, wasn't it you that said, you know, realistically, Vandy could probably go 5-6-0? I mean,
I don't disagree with that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm about to say I got 4 or 5. Wake Forest is the only one I'm expecting to maybe y'all lose, but they won't have Sam Hartman this year. So I could see you going pretty far.
Yeah, absolutely, I could.
Johnny said within the last 3 weeks.
Well, it wasn't in the 2024 recruiting class, so I'm going to look. It was probably Chris Ewald. No, he committed a while ago, though. He's a Florida kid. Those are the only full-time commits for 2025. Oh, that's 2024 again. I just looked at that. Yeah, I don't think it's actually official. Unless it was 2026. Yeah, they don't have anything yet. Yeah, nothing officially, but I know they're in talks with some big time guys. I know. Obviously, we got Jaden Davis, the quarterback, coming in next season.
Mhm.
And the number 1 overall recruit in 2025 is his current left tackle. So it sounds like we're going to snag him as well if everything goes according to plan. Oh, also, Jaden Davis, his first game. They just had their season opener last weekend. Don't know the attempts and completions. 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
Oh.
Lit
Wow.
it up.
Oof.
So I cannot wait to see him next year. And then especially if JJ comes back, then it's like, what are we doing here? Is it another like McNamara JJ situation where like Davis is going to play a little bit, or like what's going on there?
Oh, it's the same QB style though, right? Mobile,
very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, watch out!
Yeah.
Oh, see, just as quickly as JJ got all that hype, now they're gonna start trying to push him out. They're gonna start pushing him out. Look, Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. That's where we're at. Chris said my final 4 is USC, Michigan, Georgia, and Clemson. I have Michigan defeating USC by using that punishing O-line and the run game to keep USC off the field just enough to outscore them. Ooh, okay.
I like that. Now, is that his natty is USC Michigan? Because I was like, or is that the semifinal?
That'd be interesting. Because who would you play first? Would you have to play Georgia? You have to get Georgia.
Now, I think if us and Georgia are both in, I think we're 1 and 2. Yeah. Unless Penn State or Ohio State ends up winning the Big Ten and we're in as that 4 seed, then we'd play Georgia first.
Oh yeah.
But I think otherwise, they're the 1, we're the 2. And I think Georgia would pretty much beat whoever they go against.
Yeah.
But there's a few interesting matchups there. I'd love to see USC and Georgia. I mean, obviously, SC's defense we get absolutely punished, but I'd love to see SC's offense against Georgia's defense.
Yeah, he said that'd be an Eddie. Yeah,
I think if Harbaugh wins it, I don't think he's going to the NFL. I think if Harbaugh wins, he's staying for life.
But he's done everything he can do. I mean, he beats Ohio State back-to-back years and maybe potentially 3 years in a row. Then he gets back to the CFP for the 3rd time in a row. And then if he can finally get that W, I mean, drop the mic. Like, what am I doing? Especially, see, this is the other side to it, because you mentioned this. Especially if the NCAA says 2024, we're going to put sanctions on you.
Well, and that's why I'm saying, like, if they decide that they're going to add another punishment, he's gone. They'll drop a hat, especially if he wins it, he's gone. But my thing is, I think he hates the NCAA, but I think he hates the style of the NFL more, where he's got to answer to a GM, where he's got to work alongside somebody. Where when he's at Michigan, this is his show. He gets final say on everything. He gets to build the roster. He gets to run the show. So I think that part might entice him to stay. It wouldn't shock me for him to go to the NFL. I'll say that. I know it kind of sounded like I was saying there's no way he's going. It wouldn't surprise me at all for him to go. But I think if he wins it, there's the what more does he have to prove? Yeah. But if he wins it, he's untouchable here. Yeah. That's what makes me think he'd stay, unless they try and levy more punishment on him.
He'd be up there with Bo Schembechler, you know. Yeah. And who's your guy in the early Lloyd Carr?
Lloyd Carr,
90s. Yeah. Johnny Dean said, "I have FSU moving into the solid 4th spot." Ooh. Okay.
I like FSU to push for the playoff this year. I mean, there's so many teams. I like Georgia. I like us. I like Penn State. Potentially Ohio State if they get the quarterback right here. Which that's a whole funny scenario. They've done scrimmages. They've done 2 scrimmages, and they've had the staff vote before the first scrimmage, after the first scrimmage, and after the second scrimmage on who they want the quarterback to be. Still a split decision. They still don't have a set quarterback. Which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. They're both really good. They're both not so good. But yeah, so I like them to potentially make it. Yeah, Michigan, Georgia, Penn State, potentially SC if they can run the table in the Pac-12. They're a shoo-in to get in. I mean, you always got to throw Alabama in there. As much as I hate their quarterback situation, Notre Dame runs the table. They're in. Beating Ohio State, beating SC, beating some of those teams.
Oh yeah, that resume.
Clemson. I mean, Texas.
Yeah.
If they beat Bama and they can run the table in that Big 12, they're in. Like, I mean, there's just so many teams this year. That's why we were saying the 12 teams should be this year. Because I didn't even mention LSU.
Right.
Like, LSU is another team that could get in. Like, it's just there's so many teams that are playoff worthy this year. At least they seem like it.
Yeah. Those top 12 right there easily. And then 13 is no slouch. 14 is no slouch. 15. Golly day, man. NCAA, you're 1 year off, guys. 1 year off. Definitely should have started it this year.
Jeez. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't think they were expecting it to be as wide open as it is this year.
Yeah.
I think that's another big thing.
Jim has brother hold family bragging rights. Definitely return to NFL and try to. I can see that. Oh, yeah. I mean, but what are the chances of us getting another brother versus brother matchup? Like, really, I mean, the chances of that were 1 in a million that we had it once.
Well, and I think at the same time we're talking about the odds of him going and winning a Super Bowl versus he's got a stacked roster here, and especially with a 12-team playoff opening, he's got a better chance to win a natty than he does. He's got a better chance to win multiple natties than he does to go win a Super Bowl.
No.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And that full control, I think, is different. Misador said LSU's chances are dashed after weeks 1. Oh, man.
The only way they'd get in is if they ran the table the rest of the way, beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Yeah. You win that SEC as a one-loss team, you're in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially if that loss is out of conference to a team like Florida State.
Oh, absolutely. And I wanted to put this up because Chris had this up here. And he said, and yes, I got Natty sitting at 6-0 going to Florida. If they could pull that W in that trip, game day in Nashville for Georgia, for UGA coming to town. Woo! Can you imagine? Do you imagine game day at Vanderbilt in Nashville?
Well, I want to see what other games are on that week. Because
yeah, check that. But look, hey, as a matter of fact, Chris, is y'all stadium finished?
Like, yeah, that's
ready
a good
for
question.
week 1? Like, come on, man. Where y'all playing?
That is a question that needs answering. That is for sure.
This is Chris said, I'm going to go full homer and say Vandy goes 15. Why not us, baby? I like it.
I don't hate that.
In that case, Vandy plays North Carolina, baby. Let's go.
So week 7 would be the week that Vandy plays UGA. Other games that week, Tulane, Memphis ain't getting it. I'm just looking at the ranked matchups. Michigan, Indiana probably ain't getting it. Ohio State, Purdue, probably not, but maybe. Arkansas, Alabama, maybe. LSU, Auburn, no. Florida State, Syracuse, no. Oh, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah.
A&M, Tennessee. Iowa, Wisconsin, maybe.
Ooh.
Miami, North Carolina. Oh.
Well,
SC Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. I just kept scrolling down the list and then no.
Both those teams have tanked. They're gonna be there. Misador says when that loss to FSU week 1, there's no if. Well, we'll see. 7-0 Vandy versus 7-0 Georgia, both in the top 20. Game day is coming, baby.
SC Notre Dame. Yeah.
Sam Hartman, Caleb Williams. I don't know, man. But then again, how many times are we going to see Vandy at 7-0? I mean,
we got a point there.
Oh my god!
But let's. There's. I still SC Notre Dame. Even if Notre Dame loses to Ohio State and that's one loss, Notre Dame, it's still Notre Dame SC.
Yeah. He said, "Pardon the mess. For us, it is progress." Well, There you go. There you go. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to the end of the show, but we could not leave you because, as you know, this summer we've been doing our Mascot Madness Challenge. We've had the first tournament where Georgia obviously took the title, and we are down to the Sweet 16 here. We've got some matchups, some surprises, a couple coin tosses.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be quite interesting. Let's go ahead and get into some Mascot Madness up there.
All right. So we're going to start at the top part of the bracket here. We had the Hokie Bird of Virginia Tech up against Monty of San Diego State. Monty took this 5-2. Monty is Elite 8 bound. If you watch basketball the last few years, San Diego State, that's kind of the norm lately, right around this area. So makes sense on that one. Our first tie we had here, the Mountaineer of West Virginia up against Ace the Warhawk of Louisiana Monroe. And first upset here of the Elite 16, Ace the Warhawk with the coin flip moved on.
Wow.
So tell me if you had this on your bracket when we started this one. Monty versus Ace in the Elite 8. I can say I did not have that for certain.
Not at all.
Monty, maybe. Ace, not a chance. No. Not a chance. So, yeah. That top section of the bracket is set. Moving to the Big Ten section. Works out that this is the Big Ten section because next year it is the full Big Ten here.
Oh, yeah.
With the winners here, we had Herky against Benny, Iowa versus Oregon State. And Iowa is moving on. Herky, 5-3, moves to the Elite 8. And the other one, this is why I said this is the Big Ten section now. UCLA, USC, the battle for LA.
Oh, yeah.
This was not close. 7-2, Trojan and Traveler move on. Whooped Joe and Josephine Bruin.
Wow.
Sent them packing. So, Big Ten matchup here. I thought it'd be closer. I thought it'd be a lot
closer.
But I mean, I expected Trojan and Traveler to win.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, 7-2. That was a little extreme for me, from what I was expecting. So Herky against Trojan in the Elite 8. I think we all know how that's gonna go. The one I was pulling for here, Bully the Bulldog against Billy the Warrior of Hawaii. Cinderella run ends here. Billy lost to Bully 5-4. Very close one. Is what it is. Mississippi State is Elite 8 bound. Backed by Bully the Bulldog. Another one that kind of surprised me here. Jonathan Husky of UConn against Petey the Pirate of ECU. Huskies are sent packing 7-2. Petey the Pirate moving on.
Woo!
I thought it'd be really close. Didn't know which way it was going to go. Petey won it in a landslide. Was not close.
Okay, Pirate.
Yeah. So Bully the Bulldog versus Petey the Pirate to see who's Final Four bound. I love that matchup, honestly. Yep. And Blaze the Dragon of UAB versus Seymour DeCampus of Southern Miss. Mm-hmm. Blaze won at 6-3. The Dragon is moving on.
Whoa.
So Blaze is going to play the winner of the tiebreaker we had. The second coin flip, Victor E. Bull of Buffalo against the Buster Bronco of Western Michigan. They were tied at 3 apiece. We flipped the coin. It was heads this time, so Victor moved on. So it's Blaze versus Victor E. Bull. See who is Final Four bounds. We have Monty versus Ace, Herky versus Trojan, Bully versus Petey, and Blaze versus Victor. That is your final 8 teams in the second version of Mascot Madness. I love how this is shaking up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Man, I'm starting to get into these teams. I'm like, man, I don't even like these. UAB? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it, man. Yo, and shout out to Petey the Pirate. Love my purple Petey, man. Let's go. Keaton Mitchell. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Yo. So, Dave, there it is. We are down to the Elite 8 of the second Mascot Madness Challenge. Make sure you go out there and vote. Get your team that you want in there. Kind of surprised Scott's not in here talking about Truman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was in the comments earlier, and then
right. This is what party lives for. Come on, Scott.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, absolutely. Definitely check into it. We will reveal the final 4 on Saturday, right before game time, and the Natty will be coming a couple weeks from now. So stay tuned for that, people. We know you are going to like it. So hey, we're here. We're at the end, but I gotta ask you a question, Alex. Hey, it's Saturday. It's been a great game. They've gotten up 6 points, but they got up 7, but we just scored a touchdown. What are you gonna do, man?
I'm going for 2.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, going for 2. And I'm sorry, this is the comment.
Oh, this is so good.
Maybe we'll do that. Truman beat Truman to get the Chase Truman.
Yeah, Truman against Truman. Who's gonna win? My money's on Truman.
Right. And it's 2-2. It's gonna be tied. That's what it is. We're gonna corn flip the whole thing, man. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, but here we go. Going for 2. Alex, what you got, man?
My going for 2 here is just kind of take care of yourself, take care of your body. It's the only one you got. You never know when, well, to go as far as you never know when your time is up. You never know if you never know how your muscles are dealing with it right now, how your bones are looking right now. So just do your best to take care of it, whether it's eating right, whether it's getting your exercise, just take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I'll piggyback right off of that. Not talking about the body, but talking about the mind. Mental health is a very serious thing, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of people suffer from it in silence. They would rather suffer and then sit there and open up and talk to you or talk to other people about it. And it can really affect situations that happen in their lives. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, well, what happened? What happened with that? And you don't even realize that they're battling something. So if you need to talk, if you need the help, go to a therapist, go to somebody that you can trust, go somewhere where you can talk to people. But a lot of this has to do with, like he said, when you're keeping your body right, you have to take care of your body. You have to put the right food in there, hydrate it, get the proper rest. You have to do the same thing for your brain.
Absolutely.
These phones and all this stuff that we have, it's nice. It gets us attention, gets us the things we need really quickly. But at the same time, it can corrupt this once you start scrolling down those rabbit holes. And, so take care of this, and then that will help to take care of the rest, man. So that's where we're at, man. That is where we are at. Okay, Suede, you've been in here this whole time, and
I saw that. I was like, all right.
Okay, Suede, good gracious. But look, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We are Let's Talk College Football. Alex, no more waiting, man.
We're here.
No more waiting. Let's go.
Next time we're on the air, it's game day.
Let's go.
Man, it's been a long road, but we're finally here.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for Saturday.
Yes. So also this Saturday, I actually didn't even talk to you about this, but we got to give our predictions. Who we think is going to be the Final Four, and who we think is taking the Natty. Yeah.
I like it.
So we'll see.
So I got some thinking to do.
Okay. Yeah, same here.
My head, not my heart for this one.
Right, exactly. So you're saying North Carolina is not going to be number 1 at the end of this?
We got to wait and see for Saturday.
Right. For my guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore, it's your boy, Sean Spencer. This has been Let's Talk College Football. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Get ready for Saturday. Peace, people.
Oh, man.
Let's go.